Here we go. Mm. Oh, there we go. Hey, if you're in the chat, let me know. I'm gonna be here for about 30 minutes. Then I'm gonna go try to spend some time with my wife. Just want to talk to you guys for a second. So if you're in the chat, say hi. Say what's up. I hope you're having a good Sunday. Um, if you're having a good Sunday. If you're in a chat, say hi. Let me know. I'm just gonna take a quick 30 minutes to hang out with you guys, talk to you guys. Then I'm gonna go spend time with my wife. Man, you guys are busy. What's up? Say hi, guys. Let me know you're here if you're in a chat. Let me know. Can you guys hear me? If you're in the chat, say hi, guys. How's your Sunday? How are you guys doing? I'm having a pretty quiet Sunday. Anybody in the chat? I just made $125 from the winter storm. Hey, can you tell me how, James? How did you make $125 from the winter storm? Did you bet on it or something? How would one profit from a storm? That's interesting. You did side hustles. Oh, good. Fantastic. What'd you do? Shovel snow? Do you have a snowplow or something? Or did you help out the neighborhood? What exactly did you do? $125. That's pretty good, man. Hey, Ken Z or Ken's. How's it going, buddy? Grocery delivering. Ah, nice. Cool. Cool deal. I like that. It's a great time to it's a great time to get some work done, especially if you're doing delivery. I mean, hopefully you have winter tires and you're not like a danger on the road or anything like that. But yeah, I'm glad to hear it, man. Spend it wisely, or don't spend it at all. Save it for a rainy day, I guess, or do whatever you want with it. You only get one life, right? Um, do I have cats? No, I don't have cats. It has four-wheel drive. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I feel like you're telling me it has four-wheel drive because you don't have winter tires. You know. Be careful on the road. I hear you guys are gonna get ice. Um, driving a car with no winter tires on ice is pretty dangerous. And it's not just dangerous. I mean, I've done that before, but it's not just dangerous because of the ice. It's mostly dangerous because of where the storms are. I don't know where James is, but I know that there's a lot of people in Texas that are going to deal with a lot of ice in the next few days. And you know, hey, thanks for the compliment, man. Appreciate you. Um, it's mostly about knowing how to drive in ice. You know, knowing to slow down before stop, things of that nature. Um, Oftentimes, by the time you realize you're making a mistake driving on the ice, it's too late. So just be careful, James. Be careful. I don't want you. I don't want anything to happen to you. Aside from coming into money, right? Get that money, James. Charles Alvin, can I recommend you two best Christian YouTube channels? Sure, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I follow a couple of Christian channels. I follow a couple of Christian chosen ones as well. But there's this pastor that I do follow on YouTube, and you know, he often talks about things that I can relate to, and I appreciate. Can't remember his name. Uh, I know there's Narcissist Chronicles that talks sometimes speaks on you know, the religious aspect of what it is that we're going through, but there is a specific it's New Jerusalem 144. That's the person I follow. He's also a targeted individual, or at the very least he talks about, you know, gang stalking. But yeah, I follow him and I appreciate the things he says. uh Pete Cabrera Jr., The School of Identity and Lifestyle, Torben Sundergaard, The Last Reformation. uh Yeah, sure, man. I mean, I'm not gonna take a screenshot. I'm gonna follow them right now. Pete Cabrera Jr. Thanks for the. So we got one. Thanks for the references and Sondergaard. He's Slavic. That's a Slavic name. If he's not Slavic, that's a pretty Slavic name. Yeah, he is Slavic. Okay. Thanks for the reference, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna check them out. Hopefully they say something good, you know. I'm in the 2020 Compass. It has four different settings of a four-wheel drive. I still do have crappy all-season tires. I'm used to driving in Pittsburgh winters. This is like one weekend of that. Yeah. Hey man, I mean four-wheel drive is fairly safe. So as long as you're driving safe, and if you're used to Pittsburgh, then you know how to drive in the winter. It's all good. Just stay safe. Hi from Slovakia. Hi from Canada. Caroline Broussard says hi. Hi, Caroline Broussard. Your name is French. I don't know if you know that. Broussard is a French word. Oh, I mean, it's a French name. Sort of like Pierre or Jean. Which is funny. You know, I think about Wyclef Jean. People call him Wyclef Jean. Jean is a woman's name. His name is Jean. What's your social security number and address? Um, why are you blocked? I don't know. I don't have like a witty comeback here. You're blocked. So how's your Sunday, guys? How's everything? Gang stalking has ruined me. April's Way. I remember you from yesterday. April's Way says gang stalking has ruined me. I'm letting go. I remember you because you're a black woman. I noticed black women. Sorry. So I just wanted to make that clear. I remember you because you're a black woman. Gang stalking has ruined me. I'm letting go of my VA and everything. This life is miserable. Trying to cause accidents. Woke up to needles in my tire this morning. I'm exhausted AF. April's way. I'm sorry to hear about your car, first of all. When you say VA, I guess you're talking about the Veterans um, Alliance, I think. Veterans Affair or something like that. You know, one of the things about being in the military is that when you're out, they don't take care of you, which is really a horrible thing. Um, I don't think you should necessarily let go of it because it might come through in a clutch. Like it could still help, and you earned it. You earned it. So, you know what? I'm not gonna say I don't think you should let go of it. I would tell you, don't let go of it, April. You know, if you need to take a break, whatever. But don't necessarily let go of it. You've earned that. Mm, tough times don't last. As devastated as you may feel right now about it, I know I felt pretty devastated when they burnt down my brother's car, when they slashed my wife's tire, when they messed with my tires as well. I felt pretty devastated. Um, on a day-to-day basis, I don't think about these things anymore. At the same time, they're not happening to me right now, so you know, my opinion is worth what is worth right now. I know how you feel. The way you feel is justified. Just don't make decisions. There we go. I found the wise words. Don't make decisions while you're emotionally dysregulated, because that's what they want. They want you to make decisions that go against your best interest, like letting go of your VA services and benefits. You know, go take out your anger on a heavy bag or something. Um, acknowledge your anger, channel it, but don't self-destruct out of anger. That's what they want. That's what they're setting you up for. That's the whole point of it. I'm with you, April. We're all with you. You're not alone. Here it's 10:30, so not much. Well, 10:30. Your bedtime is soon, eh? Cosmic Queen says you speak beautiful French. Meant to say that yesterday. Thank you. Ouais, je parle français de France et je parle français québécois aussi, which Quebec French is, it's very different from French from France. I should say it's very different. But I speak both accents the same way that I speak English. Um, you know, job interview English and around the way English as well. Thank you, Cosmic Queen. I appreciate your compliment on my French. Very nice. It's you again. I genuinely forgot this channel exists. Okay, you felt the need to tell me? That's interesting. It's the whole community. You've been such an inspiration. Thank you. April's Way. I'm glad to hear it. I want you to know that speaking to you guys offers me the same inspiration, knowing that we are a community, knowing that we are together, knowing that you're not alone, that you're not crazy, that you're not paranoid. Well, I mean, that even if you are paranoid, they're after you. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Um, the community that's online, the people that interact with me, that speak with me, I appreciate all of you. So I'm glad I can be, support for you in in a time of need, as you all are for me as well. So if you're saying thank you to me, I'm sending it right back to you. The narcissists are watching. Okay. You're writing weird comments, not by chance. I'm giving you one more chance here. If I read another weird comment, you know what's happening. Rage room. Yeah, rage room. Rage rooms are great. Go break some stuff, man. Or, sometimes just writing down what's happening to you helps. It helps a lot. Like I know it helps me writing down what's happening, and then I make videos out of it. Um, I'm not saying you should do that, but I think you should. It does come at a price. Things get worse when you speak up. I want to let you know that. Are you in Canada? Yes, I am in Canada. True emotions are the worst time to make decisions. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to when you're upset, that's not when you want to make decisions. It's just not. Any decision you want to make while you're upset, you should just hold off on and see if you still want to make that decision when you're no longer upset, and don't lie to yourself about being upset. If you're upset, just acknowledge it. I'm upset and I have a right to be upset, you know. I grew up in Louisiana. The French down there is much different as well. Yeah, the Cajuns. So we have Cajuns here as well, but they don't call themselves Cajuns. They call themselves Acadians, right? Their French is horrible. I can't understand anything that they say. Um, and actually, Cajun comes from the word Acadian, but when you say it in English fast, it sounds like Acadian. But yeah, it means Acadian. They come from Acadie. Um, yeah, it's funny because in Louisiana, there's a lot of Creoles, like Creole people. So yeah, and I'm Haitian, so they speak French, they speak Creole. It's kind of like they're pretty much Haitians, I guess. Have you heard of God's Chosen? TI. I mean, there's a few people who have God's Chosen in their handles that I follow as well. Mi el famoso león. Sorry, mi el famoso león. There we go. All right, you the famous lion. Hey bro, hey bro, right back at you. Um, when I'm arguing with my mom and we can see that it's really getting heated, we shake hands and let it sit for a day or two, and then we come back to it. Hey, that's so healthy. That's really good. That's really good. That's actually great. Fantastic. That's a great way to operate. I saw a guy who looks like you. Do you have a twin brother? Miss Emerge is that's weird. I mean, I do have a twin brother, but he looks nothing like me. We don't even look like we're related. We're not. We're fraternal. We're not identical. If you saw my twin brother, you wouldn't know that he was my twin brother. And he's not. He's not even my complexion. We look nothing alike. I was born in a coven and got out alive by the grace of God in 2023. I have been speaking up and now live in poverty. Corrupt officials know, and I do music. I still haven't been sacrificed. Sheesh. Sorry to hear that. Were you born in Mexico? Were you? Let me know. I'm sorry to hear that. You said that yesterday as well. I was like, worlds apart, kindred, though. I'm sorry, what was I talking about? I forgot what I said. Oh yeah, Louisiana. Right, right. Yeah, worlds apart, kindred, though. I agree. With calm and new point of view, we can make better decisions. 100%. We're 100%. Every decision you make while angry, you will later regret, or you will later learn that it was a mistake, or that you should have made a better decision. You know, don't make decisions while you're upset. Sometimes you really just need to give it like 7 days. You know, every time you get angry and you want to do something, you just go, I'm gonna give it 7 days. Right? I know I want to do this right now, and it really seems like the right thing to do, and I want to do it right away. It'll make me feel better. But if you give it like 7 days, usually you're like, I don't care. Or maybe you still feel like doing it, and it's up to you, I guess. But anything that I want to do while I'm upset, I just don't do that. Yeah. Because usually, and you also got to think that, the decisions you make while angry will often be used against you. You don't want to give them ammo. I mean, you want to live your life, but you also don't want to give them ammo. I remember once I was having a bad day, and there was just this guy that used to be my brother's friend, and he's no longer my brother's friend, but he added me on Facebook, and all of my cousins were saying how they don't like him, and he's this and he's that, blah blah blah. And I was just angry, and I saw him in my friends list, and I was just like, I've never even talked to that guy, but he doesn't seem like someone I would want to be friends with. So I just unfriended him out of nowhere. I unfriended him. And then the week later, I went to the grocery store, and he was there. And we don't live in the same neighborhood at all. And the grocery store is like across the street from my place. And I just saw him there. And then I went there 2 days later to go get some snacks, and I saw him there again. And at that point, I had figured out that, oh, they sent him, you know, because we don't even live close to each other. I know where he lives or in what city he lives, and I lived in a completely different city. You know, so when I saw him there, and this is a grocery store that I went to all the time because it was right across the street from me, and I had never seen him there, and I would have noticed him because he's pretty heavy. But then as soon as I blocked him, he started popping up, and I deleted him because people, my family members who got to know him were saying that he's really like narcissistic, and narcissistic people are really easily recruited in this thing. And this is one of the reasons why targeted people are usually really good people, um, because good people attract narcissists, and if you target a good person, you can easily manipulate their surroundings to turn against them because usually there will be a lot of narcissists around that person. I really think that they're trying to create a society of nothing but narcissists because they're so easy to manipulate. You know, psychopaths manipulate narcissists all the time. That's why often when you see a person with borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder, they'll date someone who's even more narcissistic or who's just a complete psychopath, and they fit together. Yeah, a strong narcissist takes over a weak narcissist, I guess. Anyways, uh, we're just living the nightmare. Hopefully, we snap out of it soon. Hopefully, hopefully, yeah. Haitian Creole and Cajun Creole. Yeah, it's not quite the same. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard Cajun Creole. Hmm. I wonder what it sounds like. But yeah, I'm guessing it's fairly close though, since it's like you know a language born of French language. I was born in the Dominican Republic. Yeah, I figured you were from Latin America because being born in a coven is something that that pretty much only happens in Latin America. Well, I'm glad you're out of it. You know, I'm glad you're out of it and you're working on healing. Stay strong. It's hard to affirm what's a nightmare and what isn't, but when you can distinguish between two realities, you're honestly on the right track. You don't want to be in the nightmare, that's the point. Yeah? Yeah. I mean, I have no confusion about what's real and what's fake. I'm fully aware. And one of the things that they try to do is they try to sell you on like a different reality, a reality where, you are actually a bad person who deserves to be abused. You're not a person who committed reactive abuse. Like they want you to believe that they didn't come after you, that you were just a person who deserved to be come after. I have no confusion about the reality and who I am. at all. Gang stalking is a nightmare all around. Oh wait, I will not sell my soul. It's been a lot of issues. I stopped doing music. I have been targeted and made to look crazy for being a whistleblower. Yeah, this is not the first time I hear stories like that, especially when it comes to the church, the Catholic Church, discrediting their victims is a pretty like center part of the abuse that they commit, because once they discredit your character, if you speak out, people don't listen to what you say. They look at who you are. It's unfortunate, but personally, it'll never stop me from speaking up. They can destroy my character. Doesn't matter. I'm still gonna talk about you. I'm still gonna come out with the truth. A wasted existence with people you can't consolidate with. Yeah, I mean, I stay away from these people completely. Such a miserable. Just imagine just being soul snatched like that, almost an out of body experience. That's not a good place to be, forgetting what it's like to actually live in your body. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm sorry to hear that. It seems like you know, you had a really harsh experience. I'm sorry to hear that. Um, no one gets away with anything, eh? Keep that in mind. Remember, no one gets away with anything. God sees all things. God hears all things. Perhaps they won't have to pay for it in this life, but they will in the afterlife. Remember that. They will in the eternity afterlife. Um, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I just saw, an Instagram reel I just saw today, where a woman was speaking about how her husband, who is who was in the army, I don't quite remember what he did in the army, but her husband was in the army. Well, her husband was in the Marines. He was a colonel in the Marines, and she was saying that um, politicians and the leaders of the army are all deviants that are being manipulated by, you know, the Secret Service, the secret police society, to get them to do whatever it is that they want them to do. And they seek out these people. They uproot the people that are working for the betterment of the country, I guess. And they uproot these people and replace them with, you know, deviants, narcissists, things of that nature, because these people are so easy to manipulate. And it made me think of Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh, I believe, had something to do with the bombing of the Oklahoma City, um, the federal building in Oklahoma City, and of course he was caught. He was put in prison, and then all of a sudden, a few years later, there's this FBI agent, this leader FBI agent, who just comes out, and he's doing this interview on TV. Um, and he looks exactly like an older version of Timothy McVeigh, you know? And everybody's just saying that it's him. It is him. And then, at first I was like, I strongly doubt that an ex-convict is now an FBI, um, an ex-convict, a bomber, mass unaliver is now an FBI agent. But then I look at the pictures and I'm like, oh my God, this is him. It's him. That's insane. I thought that was strange. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to find the name of the. There it is. There it is. The guy that bombed the Alfred P. Murray building in Oklahoma. Uh, Paul Paul Weisopal, special agent with the FBI. And I'm telling you, if you look at the picture of Paul Weisopal, Wysopal, Paul Weisopal, next to Timothy McVeigh's mugshot, it's the same guy. This guy is a mass unaliver. Timothy McVeigh. He's now an FBI special agent. It's the world that we live in. Isn't that crazy? My toxic family stole my documents and abandoned me. I was then placed in a mental home. The harassment has been high level. I can't keep a job due to it, and they want me on SSI. Okay, so I have a few questions, first of all. Um, what harassment are you dealing with exactly? Like, do you get V2K, DWs, uh, workplace sabotage? You know, let me know. Second of all, what's SSI? I don't know what SSI is. Social Security, maybe? I don't know. And so they want you on Social Security, like on social benefits and not working? But yeah, like I said, discrediting victims is priority number one. I'm sorry you're going through that. I feel like for the people here, you need to get out of the nightmarish existence that they dwell in. That's where they exist only. These people are not awake. They exist in a dream, which you feel is a nightmare. Hmm. Hmm. I'd like you to speak more on that. Do you have suggestions as to getting out of the nightmarish existence that they dwell in? So Cosmic Queen is saying SSI is social security benefits or insurance. Insurance. Yeah. So work sabotage. Okay, so they're doing workplace sabotage. Yeah. That's like that's such a mind warp. Candace Owens was talking about how she was going through that, and she actually mentioned the word gang stalking. Like they're they're doing like relentless gang stalking. Her old company that she worked for, she's accusing them of committing gang stalking on her and trying to ruin her job opportunities, her livelihood. Over some comments that she made about Charlie Kirk and who she actually thinks is behind it. And yeah, I mean, when it happened to her, of course, I'm not happy that it's happening to anyone. You know, I don't agree with everything that Candace Owens says. I definitely don't care, you know, about some of her opinions. Um, Perhaps not lately. She hasn't really said anything that I disagree with lately. But I was happy that it's happening to someone who's so high profile and so um out in the open about it. She's just like it took me like several years to speak about this publicly. This has just started happening to her, and she's like, I'm telling everybody. And I admire that about her. Yeah, I think Candace Owen might be a person I actually admire. Like a political person that I actually admire. I was not expecting that because, for most of my life I was a liberal until, 2020, the end of 2019. I was a liberal. I didn't expect to like Candace Owens, but the more that she talked, the more I'm just like, all right. I mean, I don't want her in politics, don't get me wrong. I don't want her in politics. I don't want most people in politics to be in politics. I don't want most people who speak on, certain issues or just who are in a limelight to be in politics. But I do like Candace Owens. Hmm. Yeah. I actually hate to take any initiative like at all. I'm still in a nightmare. Hmm. Well, that's self-doubt. You know, they instill self-doubt in you, and they try to make you doubt yourself to the point where you're just going to be frozen. They try to instill shame in you to the point where you'll just like stay home and never go out and be fearful. You gotta completely let go of this. And the best way I found to let go of it is to switch my thinking, you know? I used to go out and um be get upset because I would feel like, oh, everybody knows all this information about me and they're not gonna like me and all of that, blah blah blah. And or they've been told some things about me that may be true or not, and they're not gonna like me. And then I just switched that thinking to, well, they don't approve of me, but I don't approve of them either. And my opinion is the only one that should matter in this, you know. My opinion is more important than theirs, you know. To me, my opinion is more important to me than their opinion. So once I realized that, you know, what do you care that these people don't approve of you as a person or your character? You don't approve of them, you know? It became really easy to not be phased and to let go of self-doubt. It's like, I'm a better person than you. You don't get to judge me, or you can do whatever you want, but your judgment of my character doesn't get to affect how I feel about me. You are a slime to me. You're scum to me, you know? So that's really what makes me able to not self-doubt and not be afraid to face these people that I know are in on my gang stalking. And I'll look them in the eye, like straight up in the face, of people who follow me around, or people who are, you know, in on it and pretending to be my friend. I'll just look at them in their face and I don't, I have no fear, no discomfort, you know. I just wish they would do something physically to me so that I could do something physical to them, no, back to them. But aside from that, I despise you. I think you're, you know, human trash. So what you think, irrelevant. Hal Brown. Okay. Hal Brown doing this? What? I'm sorry, King Will. I'm not sure I understand. She's the best. Yeah, she's great. Candace Owens is the best. She's awesome. She's just like, I've never seen anything like that. Somebody go through gang stalking and just immediately speak up publicly. No fear. That's admirable. I admire her. I still don't want her in any political positions though. I'm good on that, but I do admire her. I think she's heroic. Every single one of them, their families included, their stories, they all don't really exist, as in they aren't awake. Forget about these people. They bring stories only, horrific tales for you. Yeah, doesn't matter. None of what they say or think is matters. It's irrelevant. You have to be awaking to the blind. You're strange and weird. You have to be awaking to. I'm sorry. I think I misunderstood what you said. Being bold is powerful. Yeah, and Candace Owen is bold. If anything, she's bold. I think I disagree with a lot of things that she used to say when she used to work for Ben Shapiro. I was just like, do you not see that a lot of his takes are just, you know, um, trying to cause division? You know, like I remember at one point he gave his take on Black Panther and he was just like, you know, we don't need black superheroes. And I was just like, what is this opinion really about? Because I don't think he's actually, you know, a racist. I think he's just like dividing people. And I think that some of the opinions that Candace Owens was sharing in the past were just divisive. and not doing anything, not helping anything, you know. But I must admit that I do admire a lot of things that she does nowadays. Hmm. Was it me you called famous lion? No, it's the person right after you says his username is Mi el famoso león. That's his username, which is Spanish for I, the famous lion. Every time I've been bold, they would cause me to lose my apartment. I stopped being bold and I am now okay with getting the SSI and living in a small, simple life. Well, um, I don't want to alarm you, okay? I don't want to upset you, but I do want you to know that you being quiet is never going to be enough. It's not a, it's for gang stalkers, not speaking up is not going to be enough. As a matter of fact, there is a quote from a woman, African American woman. I can't remember her name. I think it was Maya Angelou, but she said, or was it Nina Simone? I can't remember. But she said, if you are quiet about your suffering, they will unalive you and say you enjoyed it. Does that resonate with you? Does that make sense? You being quiet is not, you know, it might help you in the short term, but in the long run, it's like that's what they want, and they still won't be satisfied with that. Narcissists are never satisfied. They always want more and more and more. So when they went after me, I wasn't doing anything because a lot of what they say they are upset with me about is my livelihood. They say, oh, we don't like the way that you make your money. And I'm like, nothing I'm doing is illegal. Nothing I'm doing is you know against the law. um, and you don't get to make a decision on how I make my livelihood, especially if you cost me my jobs, because I was working jobs before. um, And then when he cost me my jobs, I opened up a dog training school, and then he took that away from me. And now they're talking about, the way that he makes his money now is no good. And it's just like, I don't care about your opinion, but I haven't. But at the time where they were going after my jobs and things of that nature, I hadn't done anything to expose what was happening at the time. But they still came after me at every opportunity. So I say this to let you know. Being quiet is not gonna get them off you. Maybe in the short term. You choose what it is that you want to do with that information. Of course, I'm not telling you, hey, go after them. All I'm saying is that's what I would do. You feel me? But I'm not telling you what to do. I think it's hard to distinguish between reality and fiction. Not for me. We see what these people do to people sometimes when it becomes reality. Usually it's violent. So I just wanted to assure you that you see what these people do to people sometimes when it becomes reality. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't expect consequences for what I'm doing. When I started this, when I started talking about gang stalking, my gang stalking immediately got worse, much worse. It hit levels that it had never reached before. I don't expect things to get better. I expect them to get worse. I don't care. I don't care. Not to mess up your platform. HAL stands for IBM. He has it hacked, even YouTube. I'm sorry. I have no idea what that means. I really have no idea. That company is called Daily Wire. Yeah, I am talking about Daily Wire. When she used to work for Daily Wire, I mean, I've always agreed with some of the things that she said. Candace Owens seems to be a person that really hates narcissists and injustice. But some of the things she said, I was just like, you're just regurgitating, you know, Shapiro's opinions here. But now she's at war with him. Or maybe it's all, staged and they're actually good friends. Who knows? Who knows? I don't want any of them to be in politics. If you're a person that is seeking fame, I think kindergarten teachers should be the leaders of our world because they're not interested in power. I think teachers should be world leaders. They're not interested in power. You know, the thing about people who seek positions of power is that they don't do it. They say they do it to help people, but they don't. They do it to help themselves. And the thing about people who actually want to help people, they don't go into positions of power. They help people. They become teachers. They become, uh, I mean, they just get jobs that help people. They don't go for politics because, going into politics is a power grab and a, like celebrity contest. Anyways, y'all got me talking politics. It's like we see a side of them that's totally fake. Yeah, yep. The reality is they never really had a chance with you. What do you mean? I remember hearing a quote from someone smart before. Mark Johnston. That's strike one. I'm watching you. I don't know why I stand next to these people, seeing a side of them that just saps my energy. In reality, they probably are monstrous. Well, I refuse to hang out with narcissists for long periods of time. I have narcissists in my family. I don't hang out with these people. We have short conversations and that's it. They drain my energy. I find it draining to not point out their problematic behaviors. It irritates my soul. I don't know why. I always made my money legitimately. I have experienced career sabotage a lot even before my real gang stalking started. Yeah, I don't want you to guys think. I don't want you to guys to think that I've, done anything illegitimate. I've done, nothing wrong to earn money ever. You know, um, it's not about the way that I earn my money. It's when you don't like someone, you will find an issue with anything that they do. You know, the same people that are participating in my gang stalking and talk about how they don't like the way I earn my money used, days before they started doing that publicly, they would publicly say how I'm the best in my field. And a lot of them are my past clients in both of my businesses that I had, the one that I had and the one that I have. Repeat clients. They've been very happy for years. And now all of a sudden they're spreading rumors about me, um, sending me messages, talking about how, oh, I can't believe you would do this and you would do that, blah blah. And I have issues with, the services and the products that you've rendered to me, and um, or doing directed conversation with me. So they've been brainwashed. I don't care how they feel about how I make my money. I don't care at all. I just don't want to lose what? Sorry, I just don't want to lose my apartment again. I've been speaking up for more than 10 years. I'm burnt out. You do whatever you think is best for you, Leon. Whatever you think is best for you, that's what you do. Don't listen. Listen, don't take my advice because if something happens to you, I'm not gonna be here to defend you. If something happens, to your life, you're unable to pay your rent. I'm not gonna help you out with your rent. I can't. Right? You do what's best for you. What would be best for me would probably be to be quiet. Realistically speaking, I just refuse to. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't care about what's best for me. I think about doing the right thing. And that's what I'm doing. And I have to live with the consequences of that. And I'm ready to live with the consequences of that. And if you're not, you're not. And I don't judge you. I don't judge you. It all comes back to bite. Yeah. You'd be surprised the spell work manipulation that happens in schools. Yeah, and I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. Uh, I thought it was really funny when I found out that it was Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know why people call her Ghislaine. Her name is Ghislaine. It's a French name. But I found it really funny when I found out that Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, his company was actually the company that made all the you know, I think it was Texas something instrument or something like that, you know. But it's just a company that made books for school. It's his company. That was interesting. That was really interesting. They do it to legally harm you. Yeah. Status symbol. Status symbol. Yeah. I, people that go after like status, power, fame, I think they should be kept away from positions of power. Can't harm you if they don't have consent. What do you mean? I gave no one consent to burn my brother's car. I gave no one consent to slash my wife's tires. What do you mean? I'd like to know what you mean. If I had in my timeline that I was attacked by these people, I wouldn't really look at them the same, would I? That's really how magic works, is when you understand how it all affects the psyche. Well, when it comes to magic, it's not a subject that I'm well versed on, so I don't really speak on it. Anon chess lover Anon writes Oreo. I'm guessing you're a perp because, you know, just by your username. Hmm. Oreo, are you saying like I'm black on the outside and white on the inside? That's a weak insult. Being quiet doesn't help. No, it doesn't help. You can't buy peace with warmongers. They come in hot when you start talking, but the lower levels back off. That's so true. That is true. They come in hot when you start talking, but the lower levels back off. When I started talking about it, all my friends who had joined into the gang stalking completely stopped. Completely stopped. And, you know, they messaged me to say, hey, I hope you're not talking about me, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm like, I'm not even responding, but the whole time I'm like, I'm talking about you. I heard what you said. I have audio of you talking about how you're going to destroy my livelihood. And I'm suing you. I'm coming after you, you know, and now they're super quiet, not saying anything, you know. Um, and you know, they just gaslight me like, no, I had nothing to do with this. The lady that was doing it, I don't talk to that lady anymore. I don't care. I don't look at me. I don't care. You don't talk to them anymore. You tried to ruin my life. You think I'm gonna leave you alone now? I'm coming after you. I have proof of what you did. I have proof of evidence, you know, audio evidence of you talking about recruiting other people to ruin my name and ruin my reputation and ruin my professional relationships and friendships. The gang stalkers come from SAG Ultra, the Actors Guild. SAG, you mean SAG AFTRA? The Actors Guild? I doubt it. I doubt it. You get more street theater things, get more direct. They stop with the covert stuff, though. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds about right. But yeah, you know, they go after bigger things like your livelihood and things of that nature, but the little things tend to go away, and you know, the not so psychopathic gang stalkers, they get scared. They're like, "Oh boy, he's figuring it out. He's coming after us." I am. He's coming after us, But the big wigs behind your gang stalking, they know you can't do anything, you have no proof, and they're not afraid. And also, they're doing it to so many other people. They're like, whatever, you know. If this goes to police officers, we'll just have them instructed to stop investigating. If this goes to court, we'll instruct the judge to be in our favor, not yours. Like we'll buy and bribe and threaten whoever we have to, you know. Our justice system has been bought and sold long ago. So has our political systems. So exactly, they don't care. They do what they want. Yeah. What is the best way to not be quiet on these things, especially when you're being consistently monitored, communications thwarted via their access to and exploitation of technology? Well, personally, on a personal level, what I've been doing is I've been making YouTube videos. Um, Not naming people because that's how you get in trouble. But explaining the covert torture tactics involved in this so that when it happens to people, people can recognize it, or when they see it happening to somebody else, or when somebody speaks up about it, they'll be like, "Oh, I've heard about this before. There's this dude on YouTube who talks about this. It's very handsome." I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What is the best way to they come in my home at night somehow they know what when I fall asleep. You should invest in a security system for sure, or a real big dog. Rottweiler, perhaps. I would. Anon, chess lover Anon says it was a compliment actually. Yeah. Um. This is your last warning. You know, if you're saying that saying I'm black on the outside and white on the inside is a compliment. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna block you now. I don't like you. Peace. I don't know why it took so long to block this guy. I actually hate that we are so invested in what we see and not their actual character. Yeah. I mean, I don't have that issue. Don't get me wrong. I don't have that issue. I see people for who they are. I don't I don't try to like I don't try to see like the best of them. One of the biggest issues I've had in my life is that because I'm a good person, I thought everybody was good, and because I have good intentions, I thought everybody had good intentions. But now I'm fully aware that there are evil men who just want to watch the world burn. And you can watch the world burn if you want, but you're not burning me. Stay vigilant, pay no mind to the digs. Oreos are delicious. Well, I mean, personally, I mean, it's just like an insult. I have a cousin who actually is participating in gang stalking me. But when he was younger, people called him an Oreo because they said that he was black, but he acted white, which which always upset him, and I never understood why people did that. I do now. He speaks like a Quebecer, and yeah. Anyways, um, I just think that the whole idea of telling black people or white people, act your race is like, shut up, shut your mouth. You don't have anything intelligent to say. Be quiet. Don't talk to me. Get out of here. Yeah, I should have blocked them earlier. Honestly, that's my bad. Um, that's actually a severe problem. People who do this for a living and figure these people out won't live in the nightmare anymore. I guarantee you, the reality is a lot uglier and evil. I don't know. I don't know. The world I'm living in is very evil. They've sabotaged my calls. They try to reframing me. It's all such a conspiracy. I mean, I definitely believe that. Um, I mean, I don't have any concrete advice to your particular situation. The only thing that I would say is if you want to be heard, there is one way, and you're looking at it, right? Posting videos on YouTube. I mean, I'm not telling you to post videos on YouTube. I'm only saying that I think you should. I think we all should because my voice is one voice, and there are many people in the sort of gang stalking sphere that speak on it as well. I'm definitely not the biggest voice. I think the biggest voice is Lisa Legg. Um, but what I've come to learn is that it's important to be informational rather than just speak on your experience because when you speak on your experience, it's very much designed to make you look like a crazy person. So if I started talking to you about the things that I went through and my workplace mobbing, you guys would believe me. But the people who don't know about gang stalking would just be like, "Oh, this guy's imagining things." But if I just remove myself from the situation and explain what gang stalking is, how they do it, how they recruit, then there are more people that will be like, yeah, that sounds like something that like that sounds like dirty tactics that may be applied to someone that they want to quiet down. But when I say it's happening to me, they just look at it like, yeah, but who are you? No one. Why would they do that to you? And it's hard to fathom that because they're evil. That's why it's hard to fathom that for people. So I would say, hey, speak up if you choose to do so. Targeted people are placed on a watch list. You can have all the evidence and still lose. The goal is to keep you small, unalive yourself. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't get me wrong. I am taking these people to court. Win or lose, I'm going to take them to court. I just don't expect to win or anything like that. But I am taking them to court because I have too much proof to not do so. The actor theory is real, just like those prank shows I worked with one he used to work on Broadway. Okay. People put a lot out on X about their gang stalking experience. Haven't been on X in a while. I keep losing my account and I never know how to get them back. I feel like an old man. I hate X. It's stupid. I forgot my password. Can I get it back? Yeah, sure. We'll send it. We'll send it to this. I don't know how it works. When you lose your password, but I can never get back these accounts for some reason. I hate X. I hate it. They're not coming in your home. They're always in your home. They've got cameras in there, dude. Well, April, you heard her. I don't think they're always in your home physically, but yeah, they're definitely watching. They have their ways, they spy through your phone and things of that nature. I heard that they can have imaging in your home from like Wi-Fi signals. They can create imaging in your home. They can figure out where you are at all times. They've got pretty advanced technology that we know nothing about. Hey, TRA Trans, I remember you. I'm glad you're here. Are most of these people whistleblowers as well? Uh, I, I would say that most gang stalkers are either whistleblowers or just people that spoke up and upset someone who's living a lie. That's the best way I could describe it. You pointed out the truth of a situation or a person, and you upset a person that is living a lie. And now the Matrix is attacking you. It's sort of like this. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Inception, but they were inside of a dream, and the more that they messed with the dream, the more that you know the person dreaming is starting to notice, and then the subconscious just completely attacks the person that is in the dream messing with the made up reality. That's pretty much what it is. When it comes to narcissists are all living a fantasy, like in a fantasy world. They're living in a lie. They're living a lie basically. And when you point out truths such as you're a liar and you never take accountability and you know you're manipulative and you're exploitative, you know, things of that nature. And I'm talking about the government here, but when you point these things out to narcissists or narcissistic systems, they attack you. That's what we're living right now. It's like they somehow got you sort of like an out of body experience where you see something you want. Real people don't want anything, they just figure them out and it leaves a bigger taste. There's so much soullessness in the world. Yeah. Yep. Cosmic Queen, what I mean is I'm awakened to their footsteps but can't catch them. If I got shot by this person, I wouldn't really look at them the same, would I? They would still need some kind of bug to know when to come in when you're asleep. Yeah, I mean, if you're sleeping with your phone in the room in the same room as you, they know when you're sleeping. Yeah, I mean, every person's reason why they got gang stalked is similar. Um, no one who's getting gang stalked actually deserves it. I think that's interesting though. It's a really interesting thought. It's something to think about, you know. There are no monsters being gang stalked. It's just like people who just seem like genuinely good people. That's who's getting gang stalked. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that tell you something? Mhm. I literally don't understand why gang stalkers obsess over others and monitor them all the time. Well, are their lives that miserable that they only seek joy they get? The only seek joy they get is from perpetrating pain on others. Tiara Trance, if you don't understand why gang stalkers obsess over others and monitor them all the time, is because you don't understand narcissism. You don't understand how narcissists work. Because the truth is, a narcissist cannot create joy for himself, cannot create self-esteem for himself, cannot create any positive feelings from himself. They need to take it from others. Meaning, by taking away your joy, they feel joy. However, those feelings of joy are fleeting, meaning that it doesn't stay. You know, if I play chess against you and I beat you, and you're really hard to beat, but I finally beat you, then I feel better about myself, right? And I can sustain that feeling by knowing that I finally beat you. Or if I'm playing a video game that's really hard, I finish that video game and I'll feel better about myself because I got better, and I can sustain that and it adds to my self-esteem. But for a narcissist, those things are fleeting. They feel good for a second and then they're like, okay, but I need more of this because now it's gone. So yes, the only sick joy they get is from hurting others because they're taking other people's pain. And not only does taking their joy away gives them joy, but it also makes them feel important because it's like, look how powerful I am that I could affect this other person. If you don't understand, why gang stalkers do what they do, I strongly suggest that you get informed on um, narcissistic personality disorder and how they actually work. It'll all make sense. It'll all make sense. And the DSM-5 says that narcissistic personality affects like 1 to 4% of the population, but in reality, it affects more like 50%. It's messed up, right? Look up Tartarian society. I have. It's the good kind of magic when you figure these people out. Yeah, magic is not my thing. They're that miserable as they can make you. You're never gonna be as miserable as them. Yeah, I often say I would feel bad for these people if they weren't so shitty to people. uh, Not the bad ones, which is severe sarcastic. Just passing through, being nice. Hope you've had an amazing day. I'm having a pretty good day, thanks. Rusty-eyed ninja. That's interesting. Usually, I hope you have a good day too. What we secretly want is a wizard to figure out for us, but I don't think it's possible. Don't bring a sword against the pen, honestly. Interesting. Um, what I want, I want Old Testament God to come back. That's what I want. I'm gonna let you figure out what I mean. Thank you for the encouragement. May you continue to stay blessed. Oh, you guys are. I like that. We have like a community here. People are sort of empowering each other, and that's really good. You guys are cool. Drain them of a few stacks like they do us anyway. Even if you don't win, still it's something you have evidence on the books, enough evidence to take it to court. No, absolutely. 100%. 100%, Um, these people tried to take food away from my table. They tried to take food out of my mouth. They tried to hurt my family. And don't get me wrong, I forgive them. I'm not holding a grudge against them. I do need justice though. I need the justice. This has been going on for too long, and I do realize that these people have been manipulated into participating into something that's way bigger than they understand, because they don't realize, oh, this guy has been going through this for 19 years. They didn't realize that when they did what they did, you know, because they just got informed about it, and they were told a side of the story that would manipulate them into doing the stupid things that they did, and saying the stupid thing that they did, which I now have evidence of. Um, but that's not how it works. You don't get to, join the mafia after 2 weeks, get arrested, and say, I just got here. That's not how it works, man. That's why they built the RICO, because these small acts you do are committed in perpetrance of a bigger crime. I'm sorry, you're gonna pay for everybody else who messed with me, because I lived, I never died. That's why. Because I never died, and they kept upping the ante and getting more and more people involved, and you let yourself be fooled into doing that, and I caught you, and now you're gonna pay for what they're doing. It's it sucks, but that's how it's gonna go. And I don't feel the least bit bad about it, because had I heard things about you, or had I heard you say things about me, no one could ever convince me to do to you what you did to me. There's no way I would contact your friends to get them to turn on you. There's no way I would talk about contacting your people you have professional business relationships with to ruin your reputation with them. I would never touch your livelihood, because stopping someone's livelihood is akin to killing them. If you stop a person from being able to put food on their table, you're essentially killing them. You attempted to kill me. I'll see you in court. Evil is no means good, and I have never seen one. Hmm? I'm not sure what you meant by that. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Sorry. It's great that you have enough evidence to go to court. Please put it before God before you go, so you can get just. It works for me, especially when they are messing up my paperwork. Get justice. Okay. Well, I don't actually think I'm gonna win in court, but when I talk about them, and I talk about what happened in court, and I talk about what they did, at the very least, I'll be able to do it legally, because legally it happened on record, and I can just say, well, this is what happened in court. I brought this, proof, and they did this and this and this to me, and I was still not able to get justice, but I do have proof of it. Привет. Hey, we've got someone from Russia. Well, a Russian speaker. I don't know where you're from. If you're in Ukraine, Mongolia, Indonesia, Russian speakers are spread out. Привет. I'm new here. What are we talking about? Catch up. The movie Dark City is a really interesting sci-fi mystery from '98. Look it up. '98. Dark City. '98. A movie from '98. My wife would never. She would be like, "Why are we watching these movies of like about dinosaurs? This is so old." Dark City. It kind of looks a bit like Dune and Matrix. Interesting. I'll check it out. Thanks. If you want to break some of them, honestly, all you need to do is uncover them if you got the aptitude to do so. Yep. It's like the Truman Show on a whole new level. Absolutely. Like about maybe 10 years ago, I put up as my cover photo on Facebook the scene, a picture of the scene on the Truman Show where Truman is exiting well, he's exiting the made up world that he lives in. And that was when I didn't even understand what gang stalking. I didn't know about gang stalking. I just felt like I was in a Truman Show. I was like, these people are spying on me. They're watching me. I've seen this before in a Truman Show. And people are in on it and pretending not to be in on it, and it's just like I was like, I am in a Truman Show. Before I knew, I knew. I just didn't have the confidence to speak up about it without confirmation that it was real. Anyways, you see all the time journalists have it hard, but they end up exposing a lot of people. That's kind of what you want. Yeah. Um, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a journalist, but um, I'm willing to go through to risk myself for journalistic purposes. Yeah, so yeah, I'm whistleblowing on what they're doing to whistleblowers. Mhm. Is that dopamine? What? James Campbell, absolutely. Yep. Dark City is a scarier version of the Truman Show. Okay. I'm gonna check that out. We regenerate all things they took from us, but they will still look for more in others. Mm-hmm. Felicia Paisley. Yeah, you're right. Um, it will never be enough for these people, you know. I had posted this short about how I was driving yesterday with my wife, and I just started laughing, and my wife was like, "Why are you laughing?" And I was like, "Oh, well, you know, the government that we pay taxes to, you know, that we pay half of our checks to, and they constantly misuse our money and make it disappear and do corrupt things and make it disappear through the Pentagon. These people that we give our money to, that we slave for 40 to 60 hours a week for, only to give them the fruits of our, like half of the fruits of our labors. They're doing secret torture, silent, unaliving experiments on us." And like I'm just laughing, and she's looking at me like, so. But yeah, um, it's never enough. We already give them half of our money, and they still feel entitled to run secret torture, silent, slow kill, silent torture programs. They feel the right to run silent torture, slow kill programs on us, while we're giving them half of our paychecks. Nothing will ever be enough. Being quiet is not going to be enough, because even if you slave away, to pay your taxes, you still end up being a target of this torture, you know? I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so comfortable putting myself in danger is because I know I'm already in danger. I know for a fact. And yes, exposing these covert narcissists is one of the most dangerous things you could possibly do. And I constantly tell people, don't do that. If you're in a relationship with a covert narcissist, just get away silently, get away quietly, and cut all contacts with that person. They're dangerous. They can really hurt you in a serious or forever way, Um, but being in this situation, I just realized like this is not a there is no even playing field, They I'm in a war against an army that has all the weapons while I have none of the weapons. So I already expect that, you know, they might take me out. They can take me out at any time. I'm not gonna go quietly. One thing about me is if they do take me out, like they're not gonna take me out and people are gonna be like, I wonder what happened to him. You'll know exactly what happened to me. And you can either choose to do nothing about it or do something about it, but I'm not going quietly. Anyways, thank you for the explanation. It's just difficult to wrap my mind around the time and resources that go into this GSing BS when these things could be spent on making their lives or others better. Well, in the famous word of Michael Caine in the Dark Knight movie, some men just want to watch the world burn. And that's really what narcissism is, They're okay with sacrificing other people's lives and hurting other people in order to regulate their own emotions, and they're okay with setting the world on fire in order to keep themselves warm. You know what I mean? They'll destroy all of it just so they can feel okay for a second or feel some kind of happiness for like a second. They're fine with that. It's not even like I might regret it, but no, it's like, oh, I don't even think about that. I don't care what happens to others. Yeah, undiagnosed psychopath, narcissist. Yeah, don't get me wrong, some of them are diagnosed, but yeah, they're just they're just they have cluster B personality disorders, and it's like high cluster B personality disordered people controlling people that are lower on the tier of cluster B personalities. Um, and also controlling people who are not even cluster B personality disordered, which is why a lot of times when you start speaking up about these things, a lot of people will back away because they're not actual narcissists or psychopath. They've just been manipulated and now they're scared of the consequences of what's going to happen to them. Meanwhile, a narcissist or a psychopath is not worried about the consequences of their actions at all. You know, um, they're only worried about one thing and one thing only, and it's, you know, getting caught. It's like if they think they can get away with something, they'll just do it, you know? Meanwhile, the people that are being manipulated into doing it, they're like, well, I'm afraid that what are people gonna think of me if they find out, blah blah blah. My reputation. Narcissists are just like, nothing's gonna happen to me. The government is behind me. What are you gonna do? A French Revolution? Anyways, does it help to put painter's tape over a camera hole on phones and laptops? Yes. Beyond the net. Hey, glad you're here. Glad you're back. They definitely come in your home while you sleep. I would find evidence of them being in my home. For myself, they didn't come in my home while I was asleep. They came in my home while I was not there. And I had so much money in there, like out in the open, and they didn't take any of it. They just left a wrapper of pastry that I've never eaten in my life, aside from like when I was 5. They left a wrapper of a pastry in my living room, and somebody used a razor that I had been gifted. I had bought a hair nose trimmer and it came with a razor, but I don't use razors, so I just never used it. I put it up in my bathroom, and then I came home to find that it had been used, and I was just like, "What? What's happening here? I live alone. Why is this open? Who put this wrapper of a pastry?" And all of a sudden, it just hit me like, "Someone's been here. Are they still around?" You know. I went to go grab a hammer and I started opening closets and stuff like that. Um, I was really looking for a good time. I was bummed out that no one was there. Honestly, I was really bummed out. I wished I wish they were still hiding in here. I was like, hey, let's get it on. But yeah, they do come in your home, whether it be when you sleep or when you're not there. How are you? I'm also being gang stalked. I'm experienced the same thing. It's all at this moment. It's been going on for too long. Essential love. I'm happy you're here. There's a lot of African American women in the chat. I'm glad you girls are here, ladies. I am sorry that you're going through what you're going through. When you say for too long, how long has it been? Hey, you know what? Everybody in the chat, tell me how many years has it been since you've been gang stalked? Let's do like a poll. You know, just write the number of years you've been gang stalked, real quick. I want to see because personally, for me, it's been 19 years now. Let me know. Those labels are limitations used by jail guards. What labels? I'm sorry. I'm certain they wanted me to. They wanted you to. Sorry. You are the boss. Mm? They call them wizards because they're truly wise. They know these people really are. That's what makes them special. They know, though. They just don't care because, like I said earlier, when you start calling them out, the lower level cowards scramble. The lower levels cower and scramble. You're not talking about me, right? I stopped talking to them. Yeah, yeah. You know, I remember I had posted my first video on here talking about gang stalking, and I think it's at like 40,000 views now. And I shared it with one of my friends who's involved in gang stalking me. And her first response was, I hope you're not talking about me. And I was like, I will spare you what I was thinking at the time. And I still never told her that I know what you did. I know what you said. I have evidence of it, you know? I never told her. I just unfriended them. And one of them, not the one who said, I hope you're not talking about me, but one of them messaged me and said, asked me, like, why did you unfriend me? And I was just like, because I have audio of you saying things about me that you wouldn't say about a friend. We're not friends. That's it. And then she was like, oh, I don't talk to that other person anymore, blah, blah. And I was like, I wish you a good life. All right? That's it. And she said, same to you. And that was the last thing we said to each other. And that's the last thing we'll ever say to each other outside of court. Um, Honestly, it's like a naive child. They don't see anything that truly wise people do. They're bored and they need narcissistic supply. Boom! Right there. They're bored and they need narcissistic supply. They're vampires. They're emotional vampires. Making you upset makes them feel good. I mean, don't get me wrong, making you feel good also makes them feel good because it's about them, right? But once that doesn't work anymore, once that doesn't, and I don't mean as in like making you feel good, it doesn't work to make you feel good, is once it doesn't fulfill them anymore to make you feel good, they go on the opposite side where making you feel bad, will fulfill them. And they need to keep doing worse things in order to make you feel bad, in order to make themselves feel good. which is why a lot of marriages don't work anymore because in a lot of marriages you have one person that's a good person that attracted a narcissist and the narcissist is slowly destroying the relationship while the other party believes that it's their fault uh, because they've been convinced and conditioned to believe that everything is their fault because the other party is a narcissist and never recognizes any of their wrongs. There was a guy uh, who I don't follow him anymore, but he's a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. And he's also a narcissist. And he was talking about how his wife, um, he had once said to his wife that, you're always happy when you're interacting with other people, but when you're interacting with me, it's almost like you're never happy, What's wrong with you? And it's really funny because narcissists, they're unable to see the wrong in anything that they do. So, but they can see your behavior and they notice your behavior. So if you're being short with them, you're being impatient with them, because they're so shitty to you all the time, they will notice that you're being short and that you seem unhappy when you talk to them, but not to other people. But they'll never understand why, because they just justify all of their behavior. They might be super shitty to you and then you respond by being shitty to them as well, and then they'll be like, why are you like this to me? And then you're like, yeah, you did this to me, and they're like, yeah, but I wouldn't have done that if you hadn't done this. And then it's just like, is this a race to the bottom? You just get away from these people. That's how you win. I hope you win in court. Praying for you. eh, I doubt it, but that's not the point. At the same time, it's not the point. The point is they tried to dirty my reputation, I'm gonna dirty theirs. Not so much dirty theirs. That's not true. I'm not looking for revenge. I'm looking for justice. I'm looking for more proof, more paper proof that this is happening to me. My friends who are pretending to be my friends said these things about me. They talked about how they're gonna destroy my reputation, destroy my life. You don't get to like expose me and nothing happens to you. You're getting exposed too. Enjoy. Sometimes they get off on you breaking their plan. Remember, Christ is the final judge. Amen. Hi from Greece. Hi. I would confront these people directly if I wanted to break their illusion. If you can check out Brianna in Christ, she's going through the same thing. Brianna in Christ. Let's check her out. What it is, what it is, what it is. Oh, I'm already subscribed to Brianna in Christ. Yeah, she's dealing with like heavy stuff. She like moved to a new place, and anyways, yeah, Brianna in Christ is actually one of the first person that I watched on YouTube talking about gang stalking. I do know her. Thank you for the reference. It's bad for a person behind their exposure, just not for other people. Hmm. Yes, there was a family, father, two children, boy and girl, and they got involved, gang stalking me in the train. 3 weeks later, I saw him dead on TV. Damn. You know, there was a there was a trans woman living in my building when I was living in a condo who had harassed and followed me. It was like midnight at night. I was walking my dog. She was walking hers, but her dog was off leash. And I crossed the street so that our dogs would meet because my dog doesn't like dogs. Well, the dog I had at the time didn't like dogs. And I crossed the street and she was just yelling, you don't have to worry about my dog. He's not dangerous. I'm just a little high. And I was just like, I don't give a shit. I don't want this to happen. Us, they're like, just leave me alone. I'm not interested in being involved in your life. But she was really adamant about, no, we're gonna have an interaction. So she followed me, and I couldn't believe it. She was following me and like doing the whole reverse cheerleading, like just hailing insults at me as she's following me. And at the time, I didn't know she was trans. I just thought she was like a really big, ugly woman. And It was only after I showed the video to my friends that they were like, "You know, that's not a woman, right?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "This is a dude." And I was like, "It's like you mean a trans woman?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, jeez, that explains everything." But so she was following me, and as I'm walking, I come to the realization that it's midnight. I'm a black man at midnight walking down the street, and there's a white woman following me. Who's gonna believe that? What if I end up doing something to her? I'm going to jail. So I took out my phone and I just started recording her because I was just like, I'm not going to jail. I need proof that this person is following me and I'm getting away from them. Because you can't just defend yourself from as a black man, defend yourself from a white woman, and then, the cops arrive on the scene and then they ask you what happened and you say, well, she attacked me and I defended myself. You're going to jail, buddy, you know? So reality just kind of hit me and I just took out my phone and started recording. And I still have that recording actually. I can show it to you guys. I could post it. I should post it on my site, honestly. I should post it on YouTube. I will post it on YouTube. But she's just following me, hurling insults at me and like talking about how it's people like you that give problems in the neighborhood, blah blah. And I'm just like, I haven't said a word to this person yet, you know? I'm just walking, and then at a certain point, she's just like, my dog is friendly, my dog is friendly, and I just turn. I'm like, look, lady, I don't know you. I'm not interested in interacting with you, and my dog is not friendly. And she's like, your dog is fine, blah blah. And I just realized this person is not listening to me, so I just kept walking, and I threw out my poop bag because I had just picked up my dog's poop, and I threw it out, and then I circled back. I went back. I changed directions. I went back home, and she's still following me. And at that point, I'm just like, "Why are you following me?" She's like, "I'm not following you around. I'm showing you around. Blah blah. I'm showing you the neighborhood." And I'm just like, "What the fuck?" And then by the time I got home, I mean, she was still following me and hurling insults the whole time, right? By the time I got back home, she's like, "Oh my God, we live in the same building." She knocks on the glass of the door. She's like, "We're in the same of the entrance of the condo," and she's like, "We live in the same building." Blah blah blah. I can't believe you would act like this. It's people like you that mess up our neighborhood. And she's like, "I've been living here for 8 years. No one's gonna believe you." And mind you, I'm not saying a word to this person. I haven't said anything besides, "Why are you following me?" And "I don't know you, lady. My dog is not friendly." These are the only two things I said to her. As she's following me for like the video is lasts like 18 minutes, something like that. And she's just following me. And and then I got to my door and she hit the window really hard on the door. So then I stopped and I was just like, I'm gonna let her come in because I would like to know if she's gonna follow me home. Because if she follows me home, I'm gonna hurt her, like really bad. Because at that point, I have reasonable a reasonable reason to do so. This person followed me around, harassing me, and now followed me into my home. I'm gonna I'm gonna dislocate her shoulder, and I was Astaghfirullah. God forgive me. I was really looking forward to it, right? To defending myself. And but then I think she realized that I was waiting for her to do that, and she just stopped and started looking at her phone, and I was like, oh, that's too bad. No one wants problems. So that was it. I'm gonna post that probably tonight or tomorrow. I'm gonna show you what it is, just because it sounds like such a unbelievable story that like it's like what? Who? A trans woman followed you at midnight? Why? Because you wouldn't let your dogs meet? And I'm like, yeah. And I don't know if that person was a gang stalker. I mean, I guess she probably was, or if she wasn't at first, she became one. But the moral of the story is that she died. Sorry it took me so long to get to that point. She died shortly after she died. Anyways, What is the application for? Because this has to be a high level process. Probably. Are we all just good guys against the bad guys, good versus evil, demons and angels? Curious about your thought. I think so. I think so. I think most people who get gang stalked are good people. I don't think all of us are good people, don't get me wrong, but I think most of us are good people. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm just gonna read a few comments and then I'm gonna go. Um, I've watched a few of your videos which are insightful. I would like you to go on my page and play a track I made called Remote Neural Monitoring. Let me know if you relate. Uh, sure, man. I'll give it a I'll give it a listen. Neo Valley Sound, Remote Neural Monitoring. You sound Canadian. You sound Canadian. Are you Canadian? You only want to do this to people who are manipulating you, not the ones who are right hostile towards you. I look forward to people who like are hostile towards me and do anything physically to me. I look forward to it. I'm waiting for it. It's a family member or someone who is jealous of your life, neighbors who have mental issues that see your light shine. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of jealousy involved in, which is something I never understood because I'm not jealous of anyone. So I didn't understand that people are jealous of others. And I was just like, I don't think it's because they're jealous of me. I think it's because, I've said something or done something. But in reality, it's just, no, they didn't like you and they were looking for an excuse to go against you. And now they have one. Do you know about V2K? Yes, I do. I'm alive at 5 days shot into my play area, 6 attempted drowning through witchcraft. I will be 56 in April. Look at God. What keeps me is the love and grace of Christ. Amen. The dachshund meme gif comes to mind. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's a story that really like it makes you go, "What? What are you talking about? This couldn't have happened." I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it today. Just for you, run 6182. I'm gonna post that video. I do still have it. Everything I said is 100% true. And I filmed all of it until I got home. Um, and when you see it, I think you'll realize like very quickly this is a trans woman. But in the heat of the moment, I was just like, why is this lady following me? Like I wasn't really looking at that person as I was filming. I was concentrated on giving that person as little attention as possible and not talking to them to see if they would just leave me alone, which is why I crossed the street in the first place because I wanted to be left alone. But yeah, she was really adamant on us interacting. Uh, all right, so some people have been writing how many years they've been going through this. Namaste, happy Sunday. Namaste to you as well. That's all my fear comes into place. Your mind becomes sharpened if they don't do you in before you see the patterns, synchronicity events they play on people. 100%. Why does bad things happen to very good people? Because we're easier targets. You do something to them, see how quickly they retaliate. We forgive, we move on. We don't need to get we don't need to retaliate in order to avenge our egos. Our egos are not broken. But, you know, I've decided to make a choice to go against um my nature, which is to be peaceful. Now I'm just like, no, no. If you're participating in organized crime against me, whatever I need to do to make you stop, I will. And if it's taking you to court, it will be taking you to court. If it's, you know, going upside your head, it'll be going upside your head. I just need a reason to. I am no longer, making peace with these people. They've made it very clear that we're at war. We are at war. It's very clear now. So I'm gonna behave in that manner, and and then I'm gonna sleep like a baby, and I'm gonna go back to being the sheep of God that I am after I maul you. 22 years for Cosmic Queen. I think you win. I think you're the one who's been going through this for the longest. Wow. Brandy Lee says 5 years. New toothbrush. Maybe it was the tooth fairy. New toothbrush. Huh? 3 years waiting for Elon. Dang. 7, 4 years that I'm aware of. Yeah, usually when it starts, you don't notice it right away. So it's probably more than 4 years. How are they getting in locksmith? Some people are watching science since birth, connecting the dots. Yeah, they have their ways, huh? Over 30 years, but I really think it's since childhood. Well, we've got a winner. We've got a winner. Cosmic Queen and Azori Saint. Azore Saint. 20, 22, and 30. That's crazy. Not many of these people will like you, but we will never look at them the same way again. It's mutual thing. Yeah. 7 years. I'm 42. Didn't get bad till I hit 18 years of age. They wait sometimes till it's all adult like. Hmm. All my life. I will be 56. Oof. Yeah. I've been reading a lot that for a lot of people it started long before the internet, and I saw a news report, and a police officer was saying that gang stalking has been around since way before the internet. It's just now they're using the internet. And when I heard a police officer say that, I was like, wow. And it's a really old footage on the news, and I'm just like, well, do something about it, you moron. Um, chocolate bunny, chocolate bunny. Is that like a race insult? You're gone. Hello, I contacted Amelia. Hey, Deb, how's it going? I'm sorry, I'm actually leaving in like 3 minutes to discuss, but not on Instagram. Not everyone has Instagram. Can you relay that message? This stalker always erases my message to her. Uh, sure, I'll try to. I haven't spoken to her in a long time, but we are in a group chat. By the way, yesterday when person said he was from Brazil, seems like my ex, he dies. He did things like this, infiltrated an ex, knew he follows where I go in chats. Yeah, I figured that a lot of the people that are, in my chat that are perps are probably people that are not necessarily following me, but following you guys. So it is a possibility. It's just nothing to give any type of importance to. It doesn't matter. These people don't matter. They never will. What's a narcissist's favorite food? Shellfish. Ha. Nice. I like that. Somebody just called me Four Eyes. What are we talking about, mate? Narcissist people? Keep up, keep up. Well, um, it was good talking to you guys. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. I'm gonna go see if my wife is hungry. Maybe run her a bath or something. Um, Go spend time with your loved ones if you don't have loved ones anymore close to you. Try to get some comfort talking to people who are going through the same thing as you. Um, you know, it can be very draining and frustrating to be around people that you can't talk about your experiences with, or people that won't understand it or won't believe you. It is really rejuvenating to be able to speak what is going on up here, especially things that have been going on for a lot of time up here, and get them out of your mind. So I'm happy to give you guys a space to do that here. And I'm happy that you guys give me a space to do that here as well. Um, I I thank you, from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And just for that guy, what's his name? Run 6182. I'm gonna post that video of that trans woman that followed me around and was reverse cheerleading me, and you guys are gonna see it. All right, I'm not lying. With that being said, you deserve grace, you deserve mercy. Stay safe, guys. I love you guys.